Alright, welcome back to this channel. In today's video, I will be solving the question I promised to solve in my last video. If you have not watched the video, I'm going to put the link of that video in the description. Please do well to go and watch the video. Alright, we are asked to show that this function here is continuous, and we also have to find some values. So let me write out the question. I have sine x less than pi, then we have mx plus b s greater than pi. So we have to show that this function here is continuous at x equal to pi, and also we want to find the value of m and b. Solution. Now remember that in our last video we talked about the three tests for continuity. If you remember, we talked about the three-step continuity test. So the first step we are going to be using it here. F of a must be divine. And if you check, our a now is equal to pi. So f of pi must be what? Must be divine. So what's our f of pi? If you check this thing very well, this one is saying that x less than pi, and this one is saying that x is greater than or equal to pi. So definitely the one we are going to choose is this one here, because it is the one saying that x is greater than or equal to, and this is what we are looking for, or equal to pi. So that will be m pi plus b. That is the first step. Alright, we know that m and b will surely be a constant. Alright, the second step now is that this is step 1. Now the steps 2 is that limit x approach pi from the left hand side of f of x. We must show that it is equal to limit x approach pi from the right hand side of f of x. Now if we solve this and they are not equal, definitely this function here is not continuous. As simple as that. So let's deal with the first one. Limit x approach pi from the left hand side, that is less than pi. We are going to choose this man. It is less than pi, so we are going to choose this one as sine pi, and sine pi will surely give us 0 in radian. Alright, now we want to choose for the one of x approach pi from the right side. This is the right side because this is the one that is talking about x greater than pi. So limit x approach pi from the right hand side of f of x is equal to limit x approach pi from the right hand side of ms plus b, and if you solve that, you're going to have m pi plus b. Now remember that we cannot ascertain that this is equal to this because we are having a constant m and b, and one of the things that we have to do in this question is that we have to find the value of m and also b. We have to find the value of m and b to show that this function here is continuous. Now we know that for this function to be continuous, it means that sine pi, or let me say this one here, the limit from the left hand side must be equal to the limit on the right hand side. We know this for it to be continuous. So the next thing we are going to do is that we know the value of the limit from the left hand side, that is sine pi, and we know the value of the limit from the right hand side, which is m pi plus b. So sine pi will give you 0 and equal to m pi plus b. Now the next thing we have to do is that we're going to simplify this. We have to find the value of m and b. So from here now we can say our b is equal to minus pi. So whatever value that this thing is, for example, now let's say b is equal to let me put 1. let me put m to be 1 now. Then my b will be minus pi. My b will be minus pi. So definitely I can go back to the question and reframe it. So let's go back to the question and reframe it. So my f of x now will now be sine x less than pi, and this one, remember I said my b is minus pi and my m is 1, so this will be x minus pi, x greater than pi. Now if you check this thing now, this thing here, this particular function, this piecewise function, you will notice that this piecewise function is going to be continuous. Remember that we did not test for the third step here. Remember that the reason is that we have to find the value of m and b that will make this function to be continuous. So let's check here if the function is continuous or not. Let's check. The first step is that f of a, we want to check if it is continuous at x equal to pi. So that means f of pi must be divine. That means this part must be divine. So that will be x minus pi, and remember that our x is pi also, that will be pi minus pi, and that will give us what? 0. Okay, good. That's the first step. The second one is limit from the left hand side of pi must be equal to limit from the right hand side of pi. So let's go and check them. The limit from the left hand side of pi, alright, left hand side of pi, this is the left hand side of pi, which is sine x, so that will be sine pi using direct substitution. Limit from the right hand side of pi, which is this, and that will be pi minus pi. Sine pi will give you 0, this one also will give you 0. So you can see that the limit from the left hand side is equal to the limit from the right hand side. And remember, in the last video I told you that if the limit from the right hand side is equal to the limit from the left hand side, then it implies that the limit of x approaching pi is also equal to the same value. So definitely now limit s approach pi of f of x is also equal to 0. Alright, so the next step that we're going to do, which is the last one, is just to check for limit x approach pi of f of x must be equal to f of pi. So let's check. We know what this one is already, right? We know that it is equal to what? To 0. So that will be 0 equal to, what is f of pi? Let's go and check. What is f of pi? F of pi is also equal to 0. So you will notice that if our b is equal to minus pi and if m is equal to 1, then this function is continuous. So what is now the value of m and b? The value of m and b, so the final answer now, because we have to find the value of m and b. The value of m and b is any real number. M, b is all real numbers. Any real number that we use, any real number, be it 1, be it 2, be it 3, you will notice that this function is going to be continuous. Alright, so that is just how to solve this particular question. If you have any other questions to ask me, please put it in the comment section. I will do all to answer them. Thank you.